Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Timish and today is tournament day. Gonna jump right into it here. My first opponent is Tricky D. I'm gonna choose heads for this flips and I get tails, so my opponent will decide who gets to go first in the first round of the tournament. We see a mulligan here by both me and my opponent, and I mulligan once again, so he will get an additional card starting off, giving him a slight advantage. I have a Thundurus, a Deoxys, and a Pikachu. I am going to start Thundurus. That is my go-to start for this deck. If I get him, I will just bench this Deoxys. I'm not going to bench Pikachu yet because he is situational. And we see a Pokemon fan club by my opponent. That's not a very common card that you see, so I'm kind of curious to see what the rest of his deck is. We do see two Deoxys pulled from that, and they are placed onto the bench, and we see a Hypnotoxic Laser. It does not put me to sleep, but I am now poisoned. A Professor's Letter, getting him a Lightning and a Psychic Energy. Psychic Energies are also not very common. Usually people go with either a Prism or a Rainbow, but I have a Team Plasma Ball here. I'm going to go ahead and get Lugia. I need an energy. I hate not being able to attack. I'm going to go ahead and use both switches here. Unfortunately, I won't have another one, but I do want to end hoping for an energy, and I missed it. We're going to go ahead and Colress here, get that plasma onto Lugia, and I'm going to have to just pass my turn. It's a very, very weak turn for me. I wasn't able to get an energy, I wasn't able to attack, and my opponent is just flying through his deck right now. We see another Deoxys, a Full Art Kangaskhan, and we see a Team Plasma badge going onto that Kangaskhan, meaning that he will get the perks from those bench Deoxys now that he is considered a Team Plasma Pokemon. We see him play a Skyla here, going for a Muscle Band, attaching both that Muscle Band and a Rainbow Energy onto his active Thundurus, doing 80 damage. And I am in trouble. I need an energy here, and I don't want to place this. I need to refresh my hand here, so I'm going to use my Starling Megaphone and attach this Muscle Band here. And what's the retreat? 3 retreat for that Kangaskhan, so I'm gonna Lysander him out, attach that plasma, and pass my turn. I'm hoping to buy myself some time here by forcing his Kangaskhan out into the active position. Now he does need 3 energy to attack with that Kangaskhan. We do see an N, and there is my Prism Energy, so I can start attacking next turn. And his Kangaskhan does have a 3 retreat cost, so I am safe right now from taking additional damage. We see a Rainbow Energy go on to that active Kangaskhan, and with that 1 energy, it does have that triple draw attack, which will allow him to draw 3 more cards into his hand. And there you see it. So I am gonna use this N that I have here just to take back down his hand size. I'm gonna go ahead and bench this Absol just because he is benching a lot of Pokemon, so he might come in handy. And I'm gonna end here, and I'm gonna Ultra Ball away both my Pikachu and my Raichu. I'm not gonna use them in this matchup, I don't think. So I'll get another Deoxys here, and I could Ultra Ball away this double colorless and this Prism, but I don't want my opponent to know that I don't have a supporter, so I'm not going to do that just yet. I'm just going to Raid and Knuckle, and And now we will see what my opponent does. If he leaves that Kangaskhan active, I can retreat my Thundurus next turn, promoting my Lugia, and I can just Plasma Gale it, knocking it out and taking 3 prizes thanks to Lugia's overflow ability, but we will see how that plays out. It's always nice planning ahead in matches, but your opponent usually always seems to ruin your plans in some way or another. There we see a computer search. I did see a Thundurus in his discard pile right there, so I'm assuming he discarded one of those. And we will see what he goes for. He has taken quite a bit of time here, so he is definitely deep in thought. And there we see, just got that card, it just went into his hand, and it was for a switch. So he does get out of that active spot, and Thundurus gets promoted again. We see a lightning energy placed onto Thundurus and a Colress machine. So Thundurus now is fully powered up, which is pretty rare. You never see anyone power up a Thundurus. But I'm going to go ahead and promote my Lugia here since I can Plasma Gale. And thanks to my Muscle Band and my 2 bench Deoxys and that 10 damage that's already on him, I can Plasma Gale him for 160, knocking him out, getting rid of 4 of his energy, and taking 3 prizes thanks to the overflow ability. We see him promote that Kangaskhan. It is damaged already and he cannot knock out Lugia. So unless he does something here, I can just Plasma Gale it again and win very quickly. We see a Professor's Letter. He gets 2 Psychic Energies out. And maybe he's going to try powering up one of his bench Deoxys. I'm not sure. We do see it go on to one of the bench Deoxys and a Pokemon Center lady onto that Kangaskhan. So I can no longer knock it out with Plasma Gale, and he just does a triple draw. Alright, well, I definitely have options. I have 3 Junipers, a Lysander, a Colress. So sky is the limit right now. I'm going to go ahead and put this Prism onto the Deoxys. And I think I might Colress here. I don't want to get rid of all these Junipers, and I need some more options. So we're going to Colress here, and I get every energy in my deck, apparently. That was not good. So we will attach this Muscle Band onto my bench Deoxys just in case something unfortunate happens to Lugia. And we will just Plasma Gale for 160 damage. And we have the energy to power up Lugia again if we need to. So we will see what my opponent does here to answer back. We see a max potion, so once again, this Kangaskhan just refuses to die. We see a switch. He brings out Sigilif, which does resist Pokemon X attacks, so I cannot do any damage to it. We see a Team Plasma Ball getting out a Thundurus. And I am definitely in a bit of a situation here. I can't do damage to his active Pokemon with Lugia. None of his Pokemon on the bench have damage, and it just kind of set me back thanks to that max potion. We do see my opponent play a Skyla, We're going to have to kind of see what he goes for here. I'm not too sure what else he can really need. We do see a Coal Res, so he will be using that supporter next turn for 9 cards. And let's see, I get a startling megaphone with that. Look through here. And I am not sure what I want to do here. I do not want a Juniper. So I'm going to attach this plasma here, and I'm just going to retreat, getting rid of this double colorless, and I will just promote Pikachu to be a sacrifice if need be, and I'll just end my turn. I couldn't Juniper there for a fresh 7 just because I only have 4 double colorless in my deck, and as you can see, the remaining 3 are right there in my hand, and that would be a huge sacrifice with a Juniper. So I'm just going to kind of hold off there and see. I guess if I really need a Juniper, I will, but I'd rather hold off and try to utilize some of that energy. Now we do see an energy go on to that bench Thundurus and the Coal Res. So he now has 9 cards. We see a startling megaphone. It takes away 2 of the muscle bands, the one on the Lugia and the one on the Deoxys. And we see a Mega Evolution. Once again, something very rare to see. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have to Juniper here. I did get a 3rd Deoxys on the bench. And there's nothing I can do. So I will just have to pass my turn once again. I've gotten 2 Junipers, 2 Ns. Choices. We do see him retreat to a benched Deoxys. I'm not too sure why he would do that. Oh, we see a Lysander. He brings out my Lugia that has 4 energy on it, and he is able to Helix Force for 150 damage. Not enough to knock out my Lugia. And we will have to see what to do here. I'm going to go ahead and put that in Absol just in case, and I think I should have, yep, I do. I have that Muscle Band still in my deck. All I have to do here is just Muscle Band onto the Lugia, and I can Plasma Gale for 170 damage, taking the game and winning round 1 of this tournament. And everyone is already waiting on me, so we'll be jumping to the next one here in 20 seconds. I was very excited for this tournament. I guess there was supposed to be a 16-person tournament with this ridiculous prize pool. I think it was 6 XY packs and 6 Flash Fire packs, but I couldn't find it. I was sitting on that tournament screen and I was waiting for it, but nothing. So our second opponent here is Sunneth Cobb, and we will see what happens in the second round. I do get a Lugia to start off with, and we see a regular Eviltal. A Hypnotoxic Laser getting played, putting my Lugia to sleep and poisoning it. We see a random receiver for gets a Juniper for him, and he Junipers here, getting rid of a Dark Patch, a double colorless. We see an Eviltal and a Trubbish, a Floatstone immediately on the Trubbish, and a Muscle Band on the Eviltal, so this will be a Eviltal Garbodor deck. My Lugia wakes up here, and it is time to get my deck rolling. We'll go in Ultra Ball, getting rid of one of these ends here, and the double colorless energy. I'm going to go ahead and grab a Thundurus since Eviltal is weak to lightning. We'll get a energy on here, a Muscle Band on him as well, and we're going to try to get a switch, and we missed it. Well, I'm going to bench all these guys. This is when that Pikachu really starts coming into play for my deck, is up against the Eviltal decks and the Pyroar decks. We see a turn 2 Garbodor already activated its Garbotoxin, so all my abilities are gone. My Deoxys no longer gives extra power to all the other Team Plasma Pokemon, and my Lugia loses its Overflow ability, which allows me to take an extra prize on a knockout. We see my opponent really going to town here. We see an Ultra Ball, we see a Dark Patch, we see a Shauna getting 5 more cards, a Furbank City Gym, a Energy onto that benched Absol, and an Oblivion Wing just doing 30 damage to my Lugia. We're going to go and get rid of that Verbank, and we're going to Skyla here. I'm not too sure what to get. Grab a switch just to get Lugia out of that active spot, promoting my Thundurus. We'll go ahead and put that energy on the undamaged Lugia, and we'll just raid and knuckle here, getting back that double colorless that we had to discard earlier onto that benched Lugia, and we are just a plasma energy away from having him fully powered up and ready to go. We see another Juniper getting rid of an Ultra Ball from my opponent, and he has another fresh 7. He has been quite fortunate with the supporters. He seemed to have had one at the end of each, I guess, hand cycle, as I kind of like to call it. We see an Ultra Ball getting rid of a Darkness and a Trubbish, and a Junk Hunt Sableye just put onto his bench. We see a Dark Patch. That's going to go onto that benched Absol as well. And what will my opponent do? Just another Oblivion Wing. And a Team Plasma Ball. I needed a supporter, but sometimes you just gotta kind of make do with what you got. I don't want to use it just yet because of his Absol. It does more damage for each benched Pokemon that I have, and I don't want to give him that extra damage, so I'm just gonna hold on to it for now. He does bench an Eviltal, but he cannot knock me out unless he has that double colorless energy. So I'm feeling pretty safe right here. And I stand corrected, he had it. And he will be knocking out my Thundurus. And, decisions. I think I'm going to promote my Pikachu here. I don't really want to put Lugia in harm's way with that Absol out there right now. So we'll go ahead and get rid of the Garbotoxin ability. We're going to get Thundurus out from my deck. I think I'm going to put this energy on Pikachu and try my luck here with that Thunder Shock. And I flip heads, so that Eviltal is now paralyzed. So that does buy me an additional turn to try to get things figured out. We see a Dark Patch from my opponent, powering up that benched Eviltal, another random receiver, another supporter, getting him 5 more cards. A Muscle Band goes on to that benched Eviltal. We see a Computer Search getting rid of 2 Ns. And that Computer Search went for a Float Stone, reactivating Garbotoxin, and still no supporters. I don't want to wait too much longer or try my luck any more than I already have. I'm going to go ahead and retreat this Pikachu and just Plasma Gale this Eviltal, taking 2 prizes, and I do get a Colress, so next turn I will be able to start moving along my deck. As you can see, I still have 34 cards in my deck, and my opponent only has 13, so he has been moving through his way more efficiently than I have been able to. He does promote his Absol and another Juniper, getting rid of an Eviltal and a Switch. We see another hypnotoxic laser. A dark ride does hit the bench. My opponent only has 5 cards left in his deck, so he may deck out if he's not careful. We see a float stone go onto that bench dark ride, and just a mind jack. We're going to go ahead and get another Deoxys here since I can knock out this Absol. I'm no longer worried about my bench size. And Colress here, and we do get a Raichu and a double colorless. I can power up my Raichu on my bench. Once I knock out this Absol, he's gonna probably promote that Eviltal so Raichu can answer back, and that looks good for me. I'm gonna go ahead and Dowsing Machine here. Not sure if I should get rid of the end of the Juniper. I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that Juniper here. And just use Startling Megaphone once again, getting rid of that Garbotoxin ability. And I will Plasma Gale here, getting 2 prizes. And now my opponent is definitely in a tough spot. Darkrai is not easy to power up. If he promotes that Sableye or the Garbodor, it can be easily knocked out. I only need 1 more prize to advance. But we do see him promote his benched Eviltal. We see a random receiver for an N. He uses it, puts me down to 1 card, and we see another Verbank, but I'm not sure what my opponent is going to do here. We see an Eviltal benched, but his Eviltal, well, it can knock out my Lugia, but if he does, my Raichu will be promoted to the active spot, and I can just Circle Circuit for the knockout. So we will have to see what he decides to do to overcome this. But no, we see a Wise Cyclone. He sends that Darkness Energy back to his benched Eviltal, taking 2 prizes, but I can just promote my benched Raichu, and using Raichu's Circle Circuit attack, I can do 160 damage, knocking out that Eviltal, and winning round number 2. So here we are. Man, what a tough tournament so far. But we're off. Already waiting on me. Round 3 is only 15 seconds away. We are going to be facing a tasty snack, apparently, in the final round. A Doritos con queso. Queso. That great English of mine. So we have lost once again another flip. I think we have started second every round of this tournament. And oh no, my opponent apparently is not home currently. He might have been waiting on me for so long that he might have attempted to take a break. This would be such an uneventful end to this video if winning this tournament was just waiting for a couple of minutes until my opponent timed out and I just got the automatic victory. I would hate for that to happen. So I guess we will all just sit here patiently and watch this timer go down. Hopefully my opponent comes back. We do see Cammy come up giving the 1-minute warning, and he is back with only 55 seconds left, and he decides to let me go first. That is quite surprising, but I will take it. Unfortunately, all I have is a Pikachu to start off with, and we do see a Thundurus for my opponent. I'm going to go ahead and put down an energy first before I put down this Frozen City so I don't take damage. And I'm going to have to Juniper here. I need additional cards to help me out. I'm going to go ahead and grab a Thundurus here, and I could Ultra Ball but I don't really want to sacrifice anything here right now. So we're just going to go and end my turn and see what my opponent can do. We see a Rainbow Energy and an Ultra Ball, discarding a Frozen City and a Colress Machine. And we see a Deoxys. He's going to put that onto the bench, increasing the damage of what Thundurus can do. And we see a Colress. Oh, my opponent is down to one card after that Team Plasma Ball, so I'm assuming he does not have a supporter. We see another Deoxys, and he does 50 damage, leaving my Pikachu with just 10 HP remaining. I'm going to go ahead and put this Prism on the Thundurus here, and I will Ultra Ball away one of these ends, and I guess this Colress Machine. I'll get a Deoxys just to power up my Thundurus when he goes in. We'll Muscle Band here, and I'm not going to end just because I think my opponent may have kind of hurt himself here, so I do not want to help him out. And we will just do a Tail Whap for 20 damage. I will be sacrificing my Pikachu, but it's okay. That's his job when he doesn't really have a job in my deck. It's just to be a roadblock. We do see a Startling Megaphone, and Thundurus does knock out my Pikachu, so I am going to promote my Thundurus, and I draw another Thundurus, which I don't really need to bench right now. So we'll just go and Raid and Knuckle here. I'll get a Plasma, put onto my Deoxys just in case I need another attacker. And we will see what my opponent gets. We see an Escape Rope, bringing out my bench Deoxys, and he brings out his bench Deoxys. We see a double colorless played. He retreats back to his Thundurus, and his Thundurus does another Raid and Knuckle. He'll be able to get that double colorless back, but still no supporters played by my opponent. So I'm still going to hold on to this end here. I don't want to play it and give him a hand. And we see him type no supporter, no party. I'll just kind of reassure him that it happens. I don't want to tell him that I'm sitting on the end. I'm not playing it just to hurt him. So we're going to go on Colress Machine here, retreat that Deoxys, and just continue Raid and Knuckling away. We'll go ahead and get this other Prism Energy onto my bench Thundurus. And right now I'm in a really good position here. I mean, I'm not going to end just because I have more attackers than he does. I have a benched Pokemon that can attack right away should something happen to my active. And all he has is 2 Deoxys. So I'm just going to keep holding on to this end. And this is a very slow way to win, but it's a game of strategy, and sometimes the best way to win is playing into your opponent's weakness, which right now is his inability to draw a supporter. I would like to use that end just to kind of speed up, I guess, my play. A Team Plasma deck doesn't really feel as strong when you're playing it so slow. But then again, I'm pretty much playing a mirror deck, so that it would only help him out, so I might as well take the advantage that I'm given. We see another Raid and Knuckle, so he will lose his Thundurus next turn. All I get is a Raichu, so it's still the same game plan. We're just going to keep on Raid and Knuckling away. And I guess I'll click this double colorless, even though I really have nowhere to put it. Thunderous Noise isn't really a attack I want to invest so much energy into, so we'll just go ahead and place it onto the Deoxys just in case I need to retreat him. And my opponent plays down another Deoxys. He now has 3, and none of which can attack. I do get an Absol out of there and a Colress, but I may Colress next turn just to kind of speed this up. I do get a Lugia, so I will be able to Colress for 6 here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I get a double colorless, I'll put that on Lugia. I'll put a Muscle Band on Lugia as well. And I'll just keep on Raiden Knuckling. I can get that Plasma onto Lugia. And he is only 1 energy away from being able to Plasma Gale. If I get energy next turn, I can retreat and take 3 prizes. And then I'll only be 1 prize away from winning the tournament. We do see my opponent. He finally got a Skyla. He finally got a Juniper. He will be able to start doing stuff next turn. We see a Colress machine. He gets a Plasma onto one of his benched Deoxys, and that will be it for him once again. I do have a Juniper in my discard, so I will Dowsy Machine for it here. I want to stay 1 step ahead of him. I do know that he's going to Juniper next turn, so I don't want to be behind him for when he gets that refresh. We'll go ahead and put that double colorless on Lugia here, and we'll retreat into him. And I will Plasma Gale for 150 damage, taking 3 prizes, and I am only 1 prize away from winning this tournament. We will see what this Juniper does for my opponent. We do see a Muscle Band, and there's the Juniper giving him his fresh 7. This is what he has been waiting for I'm pretty sure the last 6 or 7 minutes. We see a Muscle Band and a Lugia now on the bench. And we will see if my opponent can finally start attacking. We see an Ultra Ball getting rid of a Switch and an Escape Rope. And he pulls out another Deoxys. And he just passes once again. Well, I am in a bit of a situation here. I'll go ahead and put this on the Absol in case I need it. I'll put a Muscle Band on this Lugia. I do not have a Plasma Energy, so I am going to... I might just go ahead and retreat him to the Thundurus and Lysander out his benched Lugia, since it is weak to electricity or lightning, and we will be able to do 80 damage with Raiden Knuckle, and we'll just kind of go from there. I'll take this Plasma and put it onto the Lugia that already has the energy on it, and all I need is 1 energy, and I can Plasma Gale that Lugia for the win. We see a Colress going on to that bench Deoxys and a Colress for 8. We see a Team Plasma Ball there. We see another Lugia, another Team Plasma Ball, and a Snorlax. We will see what he does. He's in quite the situation. He needs 2 energy to retreat that Lugia. But no, he plays a switch and brings out a loaded Deoxys, which has 4 energy and a Muscle Band. Let's see what he is capable of doing. I don't think I've seen 1 Prism energy or 1 Rainbow energy for my opponent so far, other than that first Thundurus that he used. We do see a Tool Scrapper. He gets rid of the Muscle Bands on both of my Lugia. And what will he do? If he can't attack here, he is in trouble. I can't knock out this Deoxys, but His inability to attack is hurting him right now. My opponent is still pondering his choices. I'm sure he's trying to figure out what his best course of action here is. We see a scramble switch bringing out that bench Snorlax. Now Scramble Switch does allow him to send all of the energy on the original active Pokemon onto the new one, but that's only 4, he needs 5 to attack, and there we see another double colorless, and he is able to do 210 damage, knocking out my Thundurus and taking 2 prizes. And we'll go ahead and promote my Lugia, and I need an energy. That's it, just 1 energy to win. My opponent is asking me if it is good game, but I don't know. We will find out. I'm going to go ahead and Ultra Ball here, get rid of things I don't want to draw. And we're going to go ahead and Colress here for 9, and there it is. 3 different types of energy. It is good game. All I have to do is attach 1 onto the Lugia here, and I will be able to do 130 damage thanks to that bench Deoxys. I take that last prize, and I will win this tournament here. Victory. 3 incredibly tough decks, but I was able to pull it off. And this was a crazy tournament. And oh my god, jackpot! What is this? I think someone made a oopsies here. There we got 6 XY packs, 6 Flash Fire packs, and a gold trophy. Wow, I will take it. So there we have it, 6 XY, 6 more Flash Fire, and my 8th gold trophy. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, and all that good stuff, and I hope to see you guys again.